Hi, this is Adam with Defenders USA. I'm home today because my son is sick, so I'm working on Defenders here, and I'm also doing kind of being a dad to stay at home with my little guy today. A little while ago, I was actually out in our garage. I had the garage door open. My truck was parked half in and half out of the garage because I was cleaning out and vacuuming the truck. It was pretty dirty, right? I've trained, I don't know, about 100 people in different things: handguns, concealed carry, rifle courses, and other stuff, and probably the last week and a half. So, and some of that was out at the Cameo range. It got muddy and snowy, and therefore my truck was all dirty. So I was cleaning the inside of it. So I had a half in and out of the garage, and I had the vacuum out there, and I was vacuuming the truck. And as always, right, there was a gun right there nearby with me. And all of a sudden, I noticed a guy riding a bicycle down our street. And he's kind of looking at the garage and kind of towards me as he's driving towards me. And all of a sudden, I noticed he starts angling towards me. Now, I stepped over to where the gun was. It's out of sight. He couldn't see it. I stepped over where the gun was. And I recognized him as somebody he's been through the neighborhood a couple different times. And always just seemed like he was looking at things a little bit more than I liked. He would try occasionally to, if the garage door was open, to try to peek in the garage. And something about him bothered me. Anyways, he kind of pulls up near the sidewalk and he asked me, "Hey, are you back at work now?" I presume he's talking about COVID and people aren't working because of that, or the China virus. So I just kind of looked at him and didn't say much, because I don't want to give information to a guy I don't know that maybe I'm not home sometimes or something like that. He goes, "Well, yeah, I'm back to work now." And I kind of, okay. And just kind of nodded. And he goes, "Hey, you've seen me a couple times. I've been through and I've talked to you a couple times." And he's always given me a bad feeling, just a funny sense, just something doesn't seem right. So I kind of just nodded, so okay. And he goes, "Well, I just live right down the road over here." And he points off to the east of where we live. He goes, "I live right over there." So I just kind of nodded again. I don't want to give away information. And then he said something to the effect of, "Are things going well?" So I said, "Yeah, things are going well." And he said something else too, and I don't remember exact words, but it made me sense that he was fishing for information. Was I home very often? Were there people here at the house? And it gave me an uncomfortable feeling. So I literally said to him, "Honestly, that's none of your business." And he just looked at me funny, and he kind of rode his bike around a little circle right there in the front of the house. And he goes, "Well, I live over here now." And he named off a subdivision. He goes, "I just come through here sometimes and just like look." I'm like, okay. I just nodded. I just stood there. We probably had about 45 feet separating us, 20 yards, 15 yards, something like that. And he just kept looking in the garage. So I moved to where he could see less. I kind of blocked his view. And eventually he just kind of drove off. It was strange. Here's what I guess I'm getting at. My bells went off, right? The hair stood up on the back of my neck. Something about this guy didn't feel right, and I've noticed it one or two other times. In fact, he came driving by on his bike one time about a year ago, and he was clearly drunk. I happened to be out on the sidewalk, and he comes up and he wants to talk to me. He's slurring his words. He's asking about who I am and who all's in this house. He's trying to peek in the garage. And I literally just told him, "Look, you need to move on. Just move on. I don't want to talk to you." He kept trying to talk to me. I said, "Look, you're drunk. I don't want to talk to you." And he got all huffy and he left. Notice something. He told me he lived two different places. One, he said he lived over to the east, and then he said he lived over to the west. So he got his story a little mixed up there this time. He wasn't slurring his words. He didn't act like he was intoxicated. He sure was looking in the garage. And the alarm bell stood up on the back of my neck. God has given you the instinct to know when something doesn't seem right. And even if you're wrong, if it doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. I'm going to suggest to you that you be willing to even be somewhat rude, right? Meaning you're not trying to please people. You're not trying to just answer their questions because you feel obligated to or anything like that. If somebody's delving into your private life, trying to look into your home, into your garage, into whatever it may be, do not be afraid to not answer their questions, right? He was gauging me in the same way that I was gauging him. He was trying to decide, am I somebody who's going to give out information? Can he get more of a view into the life that we have here? And in my mind, I sat there and went, you know what? This guy is looking to see if he has a good victim. I put myself in a posture that showed there's no way in the world you're going to victimize my family or me. I had a weapon staged nearby, hidden out of sight, but staged right there at hand to where if I had to go for it, I could. But while I was working on a vehicle, bending over, I wasn't carrying it where I would normally do that. So it was uncomfortable. And I didn't surrender information to the point where I just kind of nodded at him and finally told him it's none of your business. And he finally got the hint and probably got the idea that I was not going to allow this place or myself to be a victim if he was that type. And he moved on. Don't be afraid to be rude to people you have to. And I'm not saying go out there and purposely be rude, but what I'm saying is if it doesn't feel right, smell right, sound right, your instincts go off, little spider senses kick off in your brain, the hair stands up on the back of your neck. God's giving you that instinct for a reason, and you need to pay attention to that. Don't be giving information that people don't need it. If you're going to leave, your garage door is open. You need to be there. And if people come by and they start doing things that make things odd, you need to either obstruct their view, make sure they focus on you versus your stuff that's in the garage that's there, or maybe just shut that door. Anything you can do to learn to pay attention to your instincts, to not surrender information that you should, to keep your private life private is a good idea. I don't know who this man is. I've seen him once or twice. Every time my instincts go off. Do you know people like that in your life? Or do you see that on occasion? If so, do everything you can to stay alert to those things, to surrender as little, whether it's by view, by information you give, whatever as you can to these people. And you may have to literally tell them it's none of their business, or you know what, I don't want to talk to you, or you need to leave, or just shut a door on somebody and walk away. Because if not, if that is somebody who's there to victimize you as your family, they're trying to gauge you. And they're trying to decide, can they easily manipulate you into what they want? And the more they feel they can manipulate you, the more likely you are to become a victim of a crime then, or maybe as they've judged you when they come back later based on information where they think now coming to you or to your house, your home, wherever it is, your apartment, that maybe it'll be easier because maybe you're not there. So pay attention to your instincts. Don't set yourself up for failure. And be cognizant of your own security, because your security, and you know what, more importantly, your family's security, those who love you and love you and that you love, and those who depend on you, they need you to be alert. I think we have a world that's getting, unfortunately, eviler and eviler. I think evil is kind of showing itself now, and it's growing. And without trying to cause fear, it's time for us to be alert and on our guard and cautious until our instincts calm down and allow us to be less careful about what we do in moments of time. So be careful out there. Just want to throw that out there as a thought process. Guard your information, your homes with a lot of thought. All right, Defenders USA, there's our website if you want to look at it. We also have a Defenders USA Facebook page until Facebook finally shuts us down, which they might. But we do have, there we go. We do have our Defenders USA Facebook page. We have a lot of different training courses coming up, from concealed carry to rifle courses to handgun courses and more. So take care. Adam Lynch, Defenders USA.